welcome to our podcast.
How you really feel.
Because I got opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Tayana, you said that you watched Monsters. I have not seen the first episode, so just tell me a little bit about.
I thought you saw at least the first episode.
No.
Oh, okay. It's about the Menendez brothers, but you heard about the Menendez story.
Yeah.
It's the two brothers who killed both their parents. So it's it's very interesting. So I guess you can't give it a rating because you didn't see it. And I really can't give it a rating because I haven't finished it. So I just started it. But it's a very interesting show. And it just depicts the whole Menendez story. So the part, I'm like on episode 4 right now. So I've seen where they shoot the parents, then they get arrested, and now they're in jail. So it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of Pam, the Hulu show on about Pam, that is almost kind of comedic in a way of how they depict certain things, because they
I never heard of that.
Oh, I thought I told you about Pam on Hulu. It's a really good show.
What is it about?
It's about also a lady who murdered people. I guess I watch a lot of murderous
Dexter?
shows. No, like it's a real life story. So it's about her real life. It's this lady Pam who was like killing older people and taking their money.
Okay.
And she ended up killing her best friend who had cancer to take her money.
And her name was Pam.
So
they were like, how many episodes?
I think maybe 8.
Wow.
It wasn't too long. Yeah,
Okay.
It wasn't too long. Maybe 6 to 8 episodes. I can't remember. But the Menendez one is similar to that. It's like a depiction, but it can be kind of comedic sometimes because they'll do some of the scenes of like reenactments, and like one was like of him giving his brother these notes, like this escape plan once they got arrested and in jail, and they do this whole like comedic depiction of it. So it's an interesting. I just think it's a little like, I know I use this word a lot, over the top, but I do think it's very. It's just like one of those. It's glamorized. It's overacted. A lot of people were getting upset. They said that the brother. It's Lyle and Eric. Mm-hmm. The brother Eric said that he didn't like it because, even though I'm like, how did he watch the show and he in jail? But he said he didn't like the depiction of his brother Lyle because they made him seem like a sociopath. And he said that it wasn't really accurate to his brother or their story. Also, I have read online that people were saying they were upset because they really didn't depict that they were abused, sexually abused, and physically abused. But I'm on episode 4, and it's already telling you like how they were physically and sexually abused, and that's what caused them to kill their parents. So I don't know where some of the other people were getting that from. But another thing that they had issues with is they overly sexualized the brothers' relationship with each other. As people were saying, like they made it sound like they were like lovers. And so it was interesting because I'm watching the show on Netflix, and then I said, well, let me look this up. So I'm like reading on Wikipedia, and I'm like, both of the brothers are like married, in jail, but married to people. And so I'm like, that is kind of weird that why did they have it like the brothers were like lovers? So there's a lot of sexual scenes in there, and then they do make it seem like they're like these villainous characters. They don't really, even when they're depicting them as being like sad and have been molested and abused, it's like they have the characters still kind of seem void of like real emotions, almost like making it seem like they're fake. They're kind of making this stuff up. But it's a really interesting story. What did you feel about the Menendez story when you heard about it years ago?
Not interested.
Really? You don't get into crime? And
I think that sometimes when I hear about people who having all this money and these coins and they having all this stuff happen to them, I don't give a shit. And it's nothing bad. You know what I'm saying? I did hear about it, and I would only hear about it on the news. Maybe I've read a little bit about it, maybe in like a tabloid or something like that. But it's like, okay. I think that it's sad when somebody kills their own parents.
And they like obliterated them.
Yeah.
Like shot the dad 6 times, the mom 10.
Yeah. So when stuff like that happens, then that means that they must have more rage against their mom than their dad. You get what I'm saying? And so whenever we were talking earlier, and it's like, oh, this person's never lived in my shoes. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we always think that, oh my gosh, these people have perfect lives because they're rich, and I just never saw perfect lives like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like thinking, okay. And then I'm not interested in a rich person's life. I'm just not, because I'm like, bitch, I could care less. I don't want to put somebody on a pedestal. And that's probably why I didn't watch it. Or that's probably why I didn't read about it or was into it at that time. But yeah, of course.
It's from the same people who did Dahmer on Netflix.
And I thought Dahmer was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you may end up liking it.
Yeah.
You may want to check it
out.
So
I did, like I said, started watching the first episode, but then I'm doing so many different things. And then, I don't know. I just was not drawn into it. I guess I just have to sit down and try to.
Maybe the casting, because I felt like the casting could have been better.
Because I'm like, I remember the part where the guy had his toupee pulled off, and I'm not thinking, I thought they were young. Like, why would he have a toupee? What was that about?
So, because I was like, did they just add this for drama, right? So I researched it, and it said that Lyle started losing his hair around the age of 14. So I thought that was also a little odd depiction, because they show him at just one age, because it's the same actors playing the characters throughout. And so you see he looked like an adult losing his hair, but really Lyle started losing his hair around 14, and his dad suggested getting him a toupee. Because apparently they said he was losing his hair due to stress. So it probably was stress, the abuse. And then that makes more sense into the storyline of they did kill their parents because they were being abused and molested and stuff. And that was associated with his hair loss.
Gotcha.
So that's what that was all about. So and that's why I say it kind of reminds you of Pam, because it's kind of comical the way they introduced it, because it was so dramatized with him ripping the toupee off, and then you see these little screws in his head. And I was like, what is this?
What was the screws for? It was supposed
to be clips to clip the toupee in. To clip the toupee. And then, they have his character in jail, I need my wig glue. I need my wig tape. He's, stressing out because, he's, washing this wig, and he's, calling 100 times to his family, send me some wig tape. I need this wig tape. So that's why I say it's kind of an over-dramatized version of the story, because I'm but they're trying to make it seem like they were very superficial, and they were these sociopaths, because you were thinking you'd be in jail so sad and sobbing and destroyed, but they make it seem like they were focused on superficial things like wig tape and give me some dimes so I could keep talking, when y'all gonna get us out. And so it's entertaining. It's definitely entertaining.
Your scale of 1 to 10.
I mean, so far I would give it a 6, maybe 7.
That's good then.
Yeah, it's not there yet as far as gripping, where you just I can't turn away, I can't stop, because I clearly stopped it in the middle of the episode and was like, okay, I want to watch something else. So it's not that compelling. Whereas I watched some of these psychological thriller or retellings, and you'd be like, I can't keep my eye off of it. And this, I was like, oh, this little, this is okay at times, and sometimes it's oh.
That's how I felt. So that's probably why I didn't go past it. Plus, I had to get my ass up.
Oh, but I think it's worth the watch if you like that type of genre. If you're not into that, don't watch it, because it's very gory. Right. They show holes in the body, the brain splattered out. It's very gory. So if you don't like that type of stuff, do not turn it on, because they show you a lot of the dead pictures of the parents, and then the over sexualization going on. If you don't like that type of stuff, don't turn it on.
Oh, that doesn't bother me.
Okay.
But if you like love and Love Off the Grid, you might enjoy it. This is I think it's We TV, or I don't know, is it We? But anyway, it is Love Off the Grid, and it's about couples who find love, and then they try to move off the grid. And there's a few couples on there. There's some people in the North Carolina mountains. There are people in the Arizona desert. there are people in Georgia. There are people in Georgia. And there are people in like maybe Omaha or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, so they live off the grid, and so they're trying to go off the grid with no telephone, no television. You know, they'll bring their own food. Some people want to cook their own food and make everything sustainable on their own land. It is a very, very, very. It's a nice show, but it's funny that when you look at a show like that and you just see how relationships are, and you see that in the relationships, the people who live off the grid, evidently they want to be loved, but they just don't understand that everybody does not want to live off the grid. Just because you don't want certain things, they may not want certain things. And so I think that's probably why they have a hard time finding love, because imagine being used to a running toilet, right? Not having to go outside in 10 degree below weather to take a shit or pee, you know what I'm saying? Those type of things, and not having to cut wood and not having a refrigerator. Like some people don't have a fridge, or they can only have a certain amount in their fridge, so nothing perishable they can have. Sometimes they want to grow their own plants, and some of them have animals. But it's fun just to look at the dynamics and to look at how people, if somebody says, hey, I'm so sorry I can't do this, how people are not offering any type of, oh my gosh, I understand and I get it, my life is hard. They'd rather be angry at the person and saying, look at you, fucker, you let me down. Why can't you do this? Why can't you do this? You're a grown man. So to see that these people just don't have any sympathy or any empathy for somebody who's coming to live off the grid, and even though that's something that you decided and then they decided to try it out, you can't be mad if the relationship doesn't work because of where you live. Do you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that's based on the comforts of home and what you want to live with for the rest of your life. And a lot of these people are very young. So I don't want to say very young. I mean like 30-something years old. So imagine 30-something years old. You know there's television. You know there's telephone. But you can't get any phone service. You barely see anything coming through. You have bears in your backyard. Snakes. You're killing rattlesnakes and stuff. This man is so hot. He got to sleep outside on a mattress in 100-degree weather. This is at night. I'm like, but you just have to sit. I think you'd enjoy it. You really, really, really enjoy it.
After you told me about that first episode, I don't know if it was the first episode, but the one episode you told me about where the lady was having the guy catch the rattlesnake. She was like, just kill the rattlesnake. Yeah. And I was like.
So this was the one that was in the desert. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just, but you're right. It's like it's a culture shock.
Yeah.
It's not something you're used to. So you have to be patient with your partner coming out trying to live that type of lifestyle, because that's a drastic change in lifestyle.
Baby, wait until you see Maisha. When you see
Do you want to give them some spoilers?
Well, no. So Maisha is she's from Georgia. So even though I don't know how she grew up, I think that her living might be close to mine because I am from the South. But she gets me laughing and all that kind of stuff. But I think that she's just an enjoyable character. So I get her humor and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so she's trying to have a baby. And then they're also into a polygamist relationship. A polygamist, they're practicing polygamy. So they have two people who come onto the show at different times. So that'll be a fun, interesting thing to watch.
Oh, so that's upcoming episode.
I've seen all of it.
Oh,
they're
okay.
done. So they've had 2 seasons. Yeah.
Oh, okay, 2 seasons.
And then we need to watch Love is Blind. Which one? There's Brazil.
They got the UK been out for a while now.
So which one do you got to see?
But I don't think the US one is out just yet.
But they were saying the UK is pretty good.
Yeah, I heard that too. I'm down to watch the UK. Okay. But what would you rate Love Off the Grid?
9.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's entertaining. I could watch it all day long. I mean, and I do like 90 Day Fiance. I like Forbidden Love. You know what I'm saying? So I like those type of things. I like stuff about relationships. You know what I'm saying? So I like to see the different dynamics in relationships, because it also helps me to be like, oh, you know, I could be more thoughtful. Or look, I'm seeing how some people aren't being thoughtful when they think of their processes, and they're only thinking about themselves. And I'm like thinking, okay, if I put myself in that situation, how am I going to react? You know, and so to see different things and say, okay, Jeffrey, you know what? You need to see both sides, and you need to understand that, yeah, just because it's easy for you, it may not be as easy as for somebody else, because I've lived a harder life than some people. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, bitch, just pick it up with your hands. Like my mom would be like, bitch, just pick it up with your hands. I'm like, is there a napkin or do you have gloves? But everyone's different, depending on, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I think it's good. You like it.
Ooh, Jeffrey gave it a 9. Love off the grid. He said Maisha is his girl. Check out those episodes with Maisha in it. That is a can't miss show. I'm definitely going to check it out.
Maisha, you're my friend, girl. That's it. I just like you. You're funny. Anyway. Love off the grid. You got to check it out. We'll see you. Until the next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you.
And put your comments below.
Yep.